If you say to yourself that you cannot do something, then you surely cannot. It can be something as small as, I cannot get in shape because I cannot work out, because I cannot find the motivation, to I cannot move out from my mother's house because of blah, 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 to I cannot become a Hollywood movie star because of blah, 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 blah. And your mind is great at making reasons why you cannot. It's also very good at making reasons why you can, if you ever want to flip that around. But if you say to yourself that something is impossible, you cannot, then your mind will make sure to arrange everything in such a way that you really cannot. You will have the circumstances, you will have the opportunities to prove yourself that you cannot do something. It works like magic. It's basically you self-program yourself. And the thing is, that strange thing is, like, why would anyone choose to program themselves and use their mind to defeat themselves? That I do not understand. Because you have that tool that just as powerfully can make it happen if you say that you can. And if you say that you can do something, whatever you want, well, let's step back to actually know what you want. But if you say, yes, I can, then all of a sudden mind will be put to work to arrange everything in such a way that yes, you can. And then new opportunities will come up, and some wonderful timing, good luck will show up in your life to allow you to have what you want. And it's not that a luck allows you to do what you want. It's that you allow yourself to have what you want. And so now we're coming to the point of allowance. When you say I cannot, that's a sign of resistance. So you have a strong resistance to something that you want. So you have something that you really, really want, and we know what we want. On some level, we usually do. Some of us are not aware of what we really want, but that's the subject for ReConnect webinar, where you would reconnect to your soul purpose and really align with what you really want and understand what you really want. But we have this, smaller desires, right? So I want this. And then you have all this resistance to this. And the resistance is like, how would I ever get what I want? This is impossible because of blah, 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 blah. So if you would just drop the resistance to what you want, you would surely start getting it. But when you have this strong desire and then a strong resistance, this creates such a pressure within yourself that now you need to self-medicate. You need to take either strong drugs, or you need to smoke weed all day long, or somehow else to relieve, to numb that tension, that fear that's now building in within you, and for a long time. Usually it's a chronic pressure within, created from I want and the resistance I can't. And I can tell you that pretty much everyone to some degree have it. I definitely have it. But becoming aware of that is very important, because now that you can work on it consciously and become allowing yourself versus resisting what you want and telling yourself, no, I cannot have it. And this internal pressure, sooner or later, will show up as a chronic disease. And something serious, like cancer. So sooner or later, you will have to drop resistance. You'll be, by your own body, you will be forced to drop the resistance or die prematurely. And so the sooner you drop the resistance, the sooner you will have what you want, and the sooner you will start healing and feeling much, much better, because the resistance feels bad. It feels bad in your emotions, it feels bad in your body. The sad part is that not only we suffer. If you have a child and you have this pattern, then the child will learn this pattern, because children learn not from what we say, but how we act. And they see everything right away. I mean, everyone sees everything right away. People know when you live in resistance. And children, they will adopt that resistance way of living like their way of living. And so you would perpetuate the suffering. So not only you will die from cancer unless you change, your children will suffer and maybe will die from the same disease unless they decide to change and unless they become aware. All we have to do is to stop this pattern in its tracks, is to become aware of it. That's the step one. Become aware of resistance. And once you see it, it's then much easier to address it and work with it, taking baby steps, just allowing yourself little by little. Because again, it's like with the healing, because it's a form of healing here we're talking about. That expansion of consciousness, that healing process, it's a process. It's a one little baby step at a time. It's allowing little by little, growing little by little, and then before you know it, you allow in such a way that things happening out of the blue that is fulfilling your desires. And I have a story to share with you. I was living in Connecticut and I was not happy. I was with 2 little kids and a man who was afraid that I would do what I want to do. And what I wanted to do was to move to Florida. I keep talking about it. I really wanted it, but I didn't have enough time and I didn't have enough money. And I had a job there that was making good money, but it was not enough to make this big move. And I was scared that it's such a big change. And I didn't know how. That's the thing. I didn't know how is it possible. I knew I wanted, but I didn't know how, and that how was stopping me. I'm like, I don't know anybody there. I don't know which area is good. I have to look for some. So my mind would make up all these scary little details that I cannot do. And so I was not going there. I was just staying in Connecticut and struggling and suffering, and I was not happy. But my desire was so strong that in the middle of the night I would wake up and I'm like, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it. And then my mind would step in and it's like, how are you gonna do it? So my desire was so strong that out of the blue, a friend of mine calls me, a friend of mine that I didn't speak with for 5 years at least, calls me and tells me, hey, I just bought several apartments in South Florida and I'm looking for tenants. Do you have any plans to move to Florida? And my jaw just went down. I'm like, oh my God, this is sign of God. How in the world that would just so randomly happen? So we do attract, with our desire, we do attract opportunities, even if we have a little bit of resistance. It's like, you see, it's a balance. And even then, I was not just jumped in it. I'm like, you know what? I didn't know, I don't have a job there. I have a pretty good job here. I really wanted to do it. You know what? I'll just do it. He's like, okay, well, let me know. And I hung up the phone and I was like, oh my God, am I really gonna do it? And I was scared, and I was like, I'm gonna do it. And then the next day I'm like, I cannot do it. How am I gonna do it? And it's gonna be so much work. And the kids in the school, I didn't know the schools, and it was like back and forth. Eventually I was like, you know what? I almost had to force myself to do it. Like I had to just force my mind to shut up and just go with my heart's desire. And I'm like, you know what? I just gonna do it. And I did it. I sold everything. I gave away all my stuff. I bought a new car because mine was like falling apart. And I drove with my mom and kids to Florida. I drove all the way. And that was the most wonderful thing that I allowed myself to do. I allowed my dream to come true, because since then I was so happy. I was in heaven when I came down, and it was a gorgeous apartment, and my friend is a wonderful, wonderful person, and I'm so happy that I did it. I did not let my fear of how is it going to happen, I don't know what's going to happen, stop me. And so take a little note of that fear, and just, it's an irrational fear of survival. And don't, how do you do it? And just feel the fear, acknowledge the fear, and then still go with what you want. Just go with what you want, despite of all these other little things that hold you back. And then the cave that you fear to enter holds the biggest treasure. So if you make it a little meditation for yourself, to just allow yourself to have what you want, make it 5-minute meditation in the morning, and just make it for one day. Just allow yourself to have what you want that day. And then try it another day, and then before you know it, it's going to be a year of you allowing yourself to have what you want. Because truly, the whole world is all around, it's all about you. So how you approach your own universe, that's how it's going to unfold. So if you allow yourself to let's say, to share your greatness with the world, then it will happen. And there are some people have fear of like public speaking or sharing themselves, or doing what they want, because now they need to step out to the world and show themselves, right? And it's so scary. But you can also flip that around and tell yourself that I'm so grateful to share my higher callings, to share my deepest truth with the rest of people, and shine. Just be grateful for the opportunity. And when you come up with this gratefulness feeling, then, because as within, so without, you will create that gratefulness around you. Now people will be grateful to have you sharing yourself and sharing your vision and passion and your path with the rest of the world. So everything comes back to how you create your life from within. So really paying attention to this is huge. And I mean, it's a key that opens the magic door. And that is, like, I think in every fairy tale, like Pinocchio, the story of Pinocchio, that's the key that opens the door to the wealth of everything. If you need a little help to find the key, you can download my 5-minute meditation book by clicking the link below, because if you have some kind of spiritual practice that just reminds you of your greatness every day for 5 minutes, then it will be easy for you to stay on track and to keep allowing yourself to create whatever you want. And if you want to really know what you want on a soul purpose, then I can invite you to my webinars, which are called Find Your Soul Purpose. that is linked to your deepest desire, the very reason why you were born in this world, in this reality, to create something, to explore something, to learn something, to connect in some way to the rest of the world. And because many of us have forgotten what it is, we got distracted by the survival games and our fears, our like self-imposed limitations. So this will be your opportunity to remember, and when you remember, that energy of inspiration is so powerful and it's so beautiful and it's so exciting. It will help you to move forward and have what you want. Thank you. I hope you will get it. No, you will get it. Just, I hope you will allow yourself to get it. Namaste. Am I supposed to tell a wish to anybody or no?
Just say in your head.
Okay, hold on, let me think, let me focus.